Hello, I'm Ilene Wood. Welcome to today's episode of Bag Lunch. Let's get to the point. The point being, we are going to spend the next several segments talking about my needlepoint handbag collection. I probably have the largest collection of needlepoint handbags in the world. A large number of my handbags are presently on display at the Moravian Museum in Bethlehem, as well as the Kemmerer Museum in Bethlehem and America on Wheels in Allentown. So all of my bags are not here, but we have a reasonable presentation of them. Why needlepoint handbags? I discovered needlepoint handbags many years ago during a trip to Germany. My first husband and I went to a flea market, and I found a lovely handbag that appeared to be hand-stitched out of needlepoint, and it featured a bouquet of flowers on a black background. When I opened the bag, I also discovered that it happened to have a matching set of a mirror and a little comb case and a cover for lipstick and a little change purse. And I just thought it was the most charming little grouping, and I purchased it quite reasonably at this flea market, which was, I believe, in Berlin. But that was my introduction to needlepoint handbags. At that moment, I became intrigued. Why were these done? When were they done? Who did them? And why were they done like this? I had remembered vaguely when I was a little girl that my mother did a lot of needlepoint. And at the time, she did mostly cushions. And she passed this ability on to me. So for many years, I too made needlepoint cushions, but I hadn't really considered the handbag. Apparently, this was a trend that came at the end of the 1950s and continued through the 1960s. And at one point, I believe, lots of companies were importing needlepoint handbags from places like China and Hong Kong and places like France and Austria. And these bags were done by other people of a universal type of subject matter, much like the flowers that I purchased on my first bag. And these were sold in stores all over the world, but predominantly here in America. And they were sold to women just as beautiful decorative handbags that were happy and floral and went with lots of things because of the profusion of color. Eventually, though, women were inspired to create their own needlepoints that could be fashioned into handbags. And by this, I mean, this took several forms. Women either drew their own designs onto a canvas and created a needlepoint from them, or women bought canvases that were pre-worked and the background just had to be filled in with the woman's choice of yarn color. Now, understand, this was not an inexpensive process because you were paying both for the needlepoint canvas and the yarns. And once the canvases were filled in and complete, those canvases would have to be sent off to a place to finish them into a handbag. And this involved things like a metal frame and leather trim and handles and labor. So this was a huge investment in dollars, but also in time and in heart, because women had to spend a lot of time doing the needlepoint. And because of this, women began to create their own designs based upon things that mattered to them. So we're going to look at a number of different needlepoint categories over the next several days that talk about these various areas of interest and show how women were truly stitching their stories. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Bag Lunch. I look forward to seeing you for the next one.